and I love somebody else. If I can love myself enough to know when it's time to let go. See, I just wanna be so happy, but the answer lies in me. I do believe that we'll be happy, said I wanna be happy, yes, to be happy, and to find a love that's mine, will be so sweet. All I really want is to be happy, and to find a love that's mine, will be so sweet. All I really want is to be happy, and to find a love that's mine, it will be so sweet.
So, do you recall what your experiences were like with boys and men prior to puberty?
So I I would say that as a child, I found myself to be on the promiscuous side of life. Like just not really doing anything, but
Hmm.
just always like I don't know, I had like a sexual preoccupation. I would say when I was like 8 years old, me and my best friend, I don't know if y'all remember like the old cable channels, like channel 63 was like the porn channel. And we were just, oh
Right.
wow, what are they doing? And this. So once I seen like, oh, that's what happens, and oh, the guy is all up on the girl, and I was like, okay, I want a guy all up on me. Like, what's up? So whenever I looked at a boy, it was like, do I like you? Do I want you to be all up on me? It was just very much an attention seeking type of a thing. And
Right.
I did the same thing with older men.
Mm.
I don't know if I ever said that out loud, but I did
Mhm.
the same thing with older men. I was just like, who can be all up on me? Like I would just be choosing people. This sounds so crazy, but I had to be, this was even before I menstruated. This was before 12. I
Mm.
was like, and that was I mean, I saw other people's father figures and stuff like that, but I didn't really understand what the point of the man was.
Right.
I didn't really get it. So I always looked at the man like, oh, are they supposed to like be some type of, you know, somebody who's just with me, like relationship type thing. I didn't
Mhm.
really understand the concept of a father.
Mm.
Yeah. So
So let's go to after puberty, right? What was the transition like? Because I've heard stories that this can be very discomforting for women, right? Going through puberty and beginning menstruation, and stories where one girl, she develops boobs and she gets made fun of. Other stories, they develop boobs and they become popular, right? So it's not the same experience for every woman. So what was your experience like?
I'll have to circle back to just in general. Um, Ever since I can remember, I was always a heavy set young chick. Like I was
Mhm.
always the biggest, the fattest, the person, everybody made fun of and stuff like that. Not
Mm.
until I got older did I get like a shape and my face started settling right and everything like that. So
Right.
um I really, for just growing up young, probably about second grade. In second grade, I realized that, oh, people are really making fun of me. Like, I'm not that cute. I was like,
Mm.
wow. Like, my mother, she really tried to make sure that I thought I was cute, but it wasn't lining up with the people, you know, at school. They were just like, you big, you fat, you dark, you this, you that. So
Right.
at that point, I started to not want to wear dresses anymore. I wanted to wear, heavy, baggy stuff.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, I transitioned in and out through that phase because then I started getting older and people were like paying attention to me. And I was like, oh, let me put my clothes back on. So it kind of changed. But in those early years, like I was trying to like hide a little bit, maybe, put my shirt out, have my shirt tucked in the back, because so you can see a little round thing in the back. But
Right.
I would have it covered like out in the front because my tummy was big. So it was weird. I mean, and then just menstruation, that was embarrassing because I didn't get a hold of that until it took me a while. So it was always accidents, and it was always, let me bring an extra shirt, put this around my waist, and it was just very, very annoying. And then, if anything happened, the boys was making fun of you. The girls was making fun of you. Like, what?
Right.
You got this on you got blood on your pants. It's like, oh my God. So that was very embarrassing, in addition to everything else. That was embarrassing. So.
Wow. You touched on something.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might have been the first time that I've heard this so far. It sounds like you may have been bullied a little bit, right? Do you feel like you were actually bullied, or was it just, regular kids being kids stuff?
So I would say I was very much bullied. It shifted very early. Like I was being bullied. And then I had like this experience where I kind of like pushed somebody like by mistake. Like I got like a little drop of courage to like push them, and they flew. I was like, oh. So then I turned into the bully. I was like, okay, this is what I can do. I'm like, I can beat them up. And then I can like beat up other people's enemies. And then I can have friends. And then nobody won't talk about me that I'm not cute and I'm this and that, because now, I'm big Steph now, Like, that's what it changed into. So it went from bullying for probably like a couple of years when school first started. But by the time I was probably about, I would say like 9, I was the bully. I was like, y'all ain't gonna bully me. I ain't gonna be out here crying as big as I am. So it switched over to like me not being a bully, but like being everybody's protector. If I seen somebody else bullying somebody, I'm like, you won't do that to me. You won't do that to me. So I would like get myself into situations, and yeah, so I got suspended a lot. Suspended a lot.
Okay, which is a great segue, right? Because I want to talk about school, right? So I want to start. I usually start in middle school, right? Even fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
So academically, what was middle school like for you?
Middle school, that's 6th, 7th, 8th. It was no issue. I always. I would say I was pretty much a slightly above average student as far as my grades. I knew that I could be an A student, but I was just too lazy. And I didn't have anybody pushing me. My mother there was no discipline as far as a lot of things. There was just zero discipline, very minimal training for me in a lot of areas. So I kind of was just like, let me just do the minimum of whatever I have to do. It's not like anybody's checking it. It's not like, there's any special rewards for like getting an A, it's like, just don't fail. So that became, what I did. That was my practice of like, let me just slide by. Let me just see whatever, do the minimum and get by. So I was the one, I always signed whatever permissions I needed to sign. I signed those all myself. So it was, there was no system of checking. There was no checkpoint,
So during this period, middle school period, what were your relationships like with boys and or men?
Oh my gosh, this is going down memory lane. So at this age, this is when I started feeling cute again. When I got to middle school, I had, that's when I started wearing my little eyeliner and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm all right. Like in the face, I'm giving face at least, And so I was like, all right, I'll try to wear a couple of cute things. We had to wear uniforms. So I would try to give myself a little bit of flair with my uniforms. What I found was that the theme of junior high school and boys was I was everybody's little secret. Oh my God. Like I was I had probably I had like 3 boyfriends on the low. And I was just like, wow, and I didn't realize that it was bad because I just felt like, well, such and such be calling me every day after school. Like, don't tell his girlfriend. So this is not good. It's not good to be starting that young and being okay with not being like the main chick.
Okay.
And that repeated itself. Oh boy. But yeah, that's what was going on. So I had these guys who I liked. They really liked me. We was hiding in the closet, making out and stuff. Like it was just on the low. And I just was like, this is what I have to accept because, I'm the more heavier set girl. I'm the darker skinned girl. And, I got to take what I could take. So that's what it was. As far as like older adult men, I always was this like mature type of person. I remember as young as, oh my God, I was like 11 years old and I was walking in the street with my mother and some guy was like looking at me like, I guess sexually. And my mother was like, she is only 11. Don't be looking at her like that. I was like, oh my God. So from that age, I had looked much older. So I would do things like get into car with strangers if I was running late. Because the guys would just be pulling over like, hey, what's going on? I did some ridiculous stuff, but yeah, I got that attention from older guys. So I would see like, how can I use it to my advantage?